Alright, so this is going to be a video about the iPhone 6s announced today, and the basics of it. It has 3D touch display, which is the Force Touch for the iPhone, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. A 12 megapixel rear camera, which we expected. Rose gold finish, which is um, the pink iPhone that we were seeing earlier, and available on September 25th for $199 on a 2-year contract. Same prices as the 6 and 6 Plus, so 100 more for the Plus and 100 more for each storage option. And the specs on here are actually really good. They have a new 64-bit processor, A9, which is 70% faster at CPU tasks and 90% faster at GPU tasks, which iPhones have always been known for being fast. I think Apple needs to work on the battery of their phones, which I'm wondering about this, but Force Touch, in my opinion, is actually not that bad. And I thought it was stupid at first. I was like, can't you just long press on an icon? Yes and no. It does a lot of things. Like if you are on your home screen and you long press on a app icon, it will give you, normally holding down on an app icon shows you, what's it called? It's how you move them around. But long or force pressing on it will, if you force press on the camera icon, there will be like the quick take a picture there. Force press on a web browser, there will be open new tab, and it could really change the way we use our iPhones. I don't know. I like it a lot. And this is something that I think Apple should really get rid of. Apple, just get the 16 gig out of here. It's fucked up in 2015. 16 gigs on a phone, considering iPhones are normally more expensive for the higher storage ones. And 16 gigabytes, 64 gigabytes, and 128 gigabytes. Apple really needs to step up their storage, man. The 4S, or I believe it was the 3GS, had 16 gigabytes, and that was considered a lot of storage back then. Now times have changed, and 16 gigabytes ain't shit. That would be like, I've got a I've got a 4 megabyte flash drive. All right, that's nothing now. And they look really nice. These phones look really nice. The back of them where it has the iPhone logo, now it says iPhone S at the bottom, and I think this looks really good. I'm really liking the pink option. Yeah, yes, a guy saying he likes the pink option. I get it, it's mainly for girls, but it looks nice. The gold option looks nice, and these are just really cool looking phones. And this is coming from an Android guy. I would not buy these phones, obviously, because there's just many problems with iOS that I'm not a fan of. And especially the fact that you can't plug in the phone to a computer and copy files over without syncing or anything like that. And second gen Touch ID is on here too, which is basically faster Touch ID, better camera, which is now, the front one's 5 megapixels. So we all know Apple um, made a big deal about some other stuff they're doing, and it comes with iOS 9, as we know. And one thing I noticed, they showed the Move to iOS app, which on the demonstration of it for Android phone, they showed some no-name brand piece of junk, which really, Apple, if you had to represent iOS, you're going to show some old-ass phone. In my opinion, to represent Android, showing some old-ass phone, some no-name brand phone, I don't even know what it is. You're showing some no-name brand phone, and maybe it is a real phone. If you could probably comment if it is, but they're showing something like that and saying, what is it called? They're saying that it is representing Android as an Android phone. Yes, there are many Android phones, but Apple should have showed something like an iPhone, or not an iPhone. They should have showed the iPhone 6 and maybe like a G4, a Note 5, an S6, something, a 1M9, and the big things. One thing I can't confirm is 2 gigs of RAM or not. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter at this point because it's going to be fast enough. 3D Touch, I already talked about. 7000 series aluminum, which is basically, you're not going to have no bending no more. The iPhone 6 Plus could bend, and it was very unlikely to, but maybe if you're doing like dancing or something, and you had your iPhone in your pocket, it would bend or something. I just thought that was very unlikely. It was still a problem, but very unlikely. Unlike the pen gate, which is basically people making up excuses to break their phones. And with the 7000 series, it's going to be harder to bend, much stronger. Should It's going to have stronger cover glass, so it's going to be a more durable phone. 64-bit processor with a A9 and an M9, or the A8 and the A9 64-bit chip with the M9 motion code processor. They've had those M processors, which basically helps with fitness tracking, steps, this smaller tasks. Say battery, and older iPhones, fitness trackers would use the battery up, but something like this would help it. 4K video. And with that 4K video, how many 4K videos are you going to have on the iPhone 6 with 16 gigs? Probably like 1, 2, before you get those annoying iOS storage messages. 5K or 5 megapixel 5K camera, damn. But a 5 megapixel front camera is going to have, and yeah, the prices, um, they are pretty disappointing in my opinion. And the 5S, as we know, the 5S I actually think is a better looking phone than these two iPhones, the newer ones. But yeah, um, there they are. The iPhone 5S is now a free phone, and the 5C Apple's gonna try to bury and make it seem like it doesn't exist. And the 5S is actually still pretty decent in my opinion. I like the look of the 5S, and I like the screen size. I personally wouldn't use it as my main phone, but maybe for a iPod or something I would use that screen size, but I'm going on a bit. And iOS 9 is available September 16, and the phone is September 25th for the launch. You can expect people going out and buying this thing. Will I buy it? Personally, I probably will not, because I just, my G4, it works perfectly fine. There's no reason to upgrade to something. And it's going to be a good phone, and Force Touch is actually kind of surprised me. You can hold down on like an email to show a quick preview, kind of like how Samsung had their gimmicky feature of it on the S4, which people actually used, and I didn't think it was that gimmicky. I never used it because I could never find it on my Note 4. It was probably removed by then by Samsung, but now Apple has something like that, and the Force Touch it will work on apps like in the home screen. Holding down or force pressing on an app will show what am I trying to say? The little menu. It's kind of like a right click. That's what it's basically described as. I thought it would work more as the menu button on Android, which is how the Apple Watch one works, but this one's more of a right click, so I'm kind of liking it. And yeah, I kind of am surprised about it. So I'll talk about the other stuff Apple launched besides the 6S and the 6S Plus, but I just want to make a video about it because I'm kind of surprised about it. Especially, I'm disappointed with the storage. The storage I'm very disappointed about, and it's just fucking, it's shit. Apple, it fucking sucks ass. Do not do that. Again, please do not make another 16 gig phone. I'm not gonna buy another 16 gig phone. I had a 16 gig 4S, as I said before, and what I was trying to say is, I was trying to say that on the iPhone 6S, the iOS 9 takes up less space, but still, it's 16 gigabytes. That's not a lot of storage, considering people are using their phones for almost everything nowadays. That's definitely a major downfall of this phone, but other than that, it's still going to sell. I already know it's going to sell. So I already know it's going to sell. That's all I really have to say about it, and bye.